everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we need to talk about my summer TBR and whether I've actually read those books, and let's just say it wasn't very successful, but yeah. Let's just talk about it here, okay? Now, this summer has been one of the most stressful times of my life. I had 2 jobs. I was waiting for the results of my PhD thesis, and I was moving, so there was a lot going on. And there was also the tiny little fact that I was leaving my town and I was moving to a different town, and my former town had really worked on their library. They had so many good English titles. So I kind of went a little bit crazy, and I got a lot of those books in July because it was the last month I could use the library there, and I kind of abandoned my TBR for that month. So that's also one of the reasons why it didn't really go so well with my physical TBR. But let's break it down through the months, shall we? So starting in July, I had 6 books on my physical TBR that I wanted to read, and out of these 6 books, I read 0. You heard correctly. 0 books read in July. But I also had a lot of the library books, as I just mentioned. So I had 7 library books on my July TBR, and out of those 7 I managed to start 4 and finish 3 in July. I finished the 4th book at the beginning of August. So it wasn't a super great reading month either. But yeah, at least some books were read. Then for August, I had 8 books on my physical TBR for August. It was also the month of the magical readathon, so I had to find books that match my prompts. And I was also moving in August. So I did get a couple of ebooks that I needed for the prompts and that were more practical to read during the moving process. Out of my 8 books I had on my August TBR, I managed to start and finish 5, which was actually quite good. It was actually my best month because of the magical readathon. And I did not have any library books in August because I was moving. And then on my September TBR, I had been a little bit ambitious and I had put all of the books I really wanted to get to from my summer TBR. I just put them onto September again. So that ended up being 11 books on my physical TBR for September. And out of those 11, I managed to start 4 in September and finish 3. And the 4th one I have just finished now, starting October. And again, I did not have library books for September. So overall, it wasn't very successful, but I had kind of a feeling that it wouldn't be. And I'm not too mad about it because, as I said, I was just so busy and I was just traveling back and forth. I was working a lot. It was just a crazy time. And honestly, I'm so glad it's over. This was just one thing I knew I had to survive somehow this year, and I did it. And now that September has come to a close, I'm kind of feeling a little bit more like myself again, which is great, which I very much appreciate. So let's get through the books and I will tell you which ones I've read and which ones I haven't read. And I want to start out with the 2 series I wanted to read this summer. You may know that at the end of last year I made a list of 5 series I wanted to read this year, and 2 of those I had put into my summer schedule. Now, the first series was the Poppy War trilogy, so I have read The Poppy War, The Dragon Republic, and The Burning God, and that long series honestly took up a lot of my reading time. And so we have another series I wanted to read, and that was the Devabad trilogy. And with this series, I have now, at the beginning of August, finished City of Brass and Kingdom of Copper, but I have not yet finished Empire of Gold. But this series is going much better than the Poppy War, to be honest, so I'm very happy about that. Now for the other books on my TBR, let's start with the ones that I've actually read. I have read Chi Volume 6. This is a manga about a small cat. I have read Bitter Oranges by Claire Fuller. I have read and despised Sand by Wolfgang Herrndorff. And I have finally read How Beautiful We Were by Mbolo Mbue. So now let's get through the big, the big stack of books that I didn't get to this summer. We have Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. This is the sequel to Alice in Wonderland, which I did not get around to. Sadly, we still have Grave Secrets by Katie Reichs. I will keep this for next year because this series is like summer to me. The Next Step in the Dance by Tim Gaudreau, and this is actually one of those books that has been on my TBR for so long and I just want to get it off. We have these two books, which I still might read, but the year is getting really short, to be honest. But I have a really fun reading vlog planned with these. So this is a book my grandma gave me. It's called Heimat deine Sünde by Horst Lapp, and it's a autobiography, I think. This one also from my grandma, I believe. This is Gwen Cooper's Love Saves the Day, and it's a romance. Then we have this really short book, which still might happen this year. We'll see about that. This is Gacha Gotcha by Vivek Shambhak. This book is my nemesis. Beren and Lucien by J.R.R. Tolkien. And an Italian book, Acht Berge, Eight Mountains by Paolo Cognetti. So as I said, the year is getting shorter and shorter, so I think most of these books will not be read this year and I will probably keep them for the next summertime. I am still hopeful that next year I can reduce my TBR more, but I just did my stats this morning and honestly 2/3 of the books I read are new purchases and only 1/3 of my reading is my backlist, my physical TBR. So I'm just not good at reading these TBR books, unfortunately. But I still did get a good chunk of my reading plans done, even though it doesn't look like it. But I managed to do both of the big series I wanted to read this year, so that was pretty great. And yeah, we'll see how the autumn and fall TBR goes. I don't have very high hopes, to be honest, but we'll just see. And I'll keep you updated. Let me know how your summer went. Did you reduce your TBR? And yeah, see you soon. Bye!